Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toys Escapades channel in Malaysia. 80s fantasy teddy bears, the Care Bears, are returning as action figures thanks to a brand new line from Premium DNA Toys, which is set to be released next year in February of 2024. Premium DNA Toys have been generating a lot of buzz with fans of nostalgia merchandise with their action figure updates of retro properties such as Mad Balls, Mars Attacks, Battletoads, and Barnyard Commandos. But the Care Bears could be the one franchise that takes them straight into the mainstream. The Care Bears, one of the most iconic pop culture properties of the 1980s. No matter what you thought of them, you couldn't avoid hearing about them, seeing them, and maybe even owning them. The Care Bears was so big that they even got their own motion picture in 1985. And unlike animated theatrical films based on other 80s properties like Transformers the movie, which failed at the box office initially, the Care Bears movie was actually a box office success, grossing $34 million on just a $2 million budget. Now, Marvel also released a very successful line of comics that are in fact very rare and hard to find on the secondary market today. I regret having sold off my copy of Care Bears issue 1 a few years ago, as that book has really shot up in value. It's like the value of that book has shot up straight to the clouds, just like where the Care Bears are. But when it came to the action figures, the one company that had these bears fully covered back in the day was Kenner, with their excellent range of posable characters and vehicles like the Cloudmobile, which I covered here on the channel a few years back. Go check out that video if you haven't already. Now, this was a very well produced line of toys, and Kenner put as much care into the series as they did with any of their other 80s household brands like Star Wars and Mask. The new line of figures from Premium DNA promise fans a whole new premium experience with updated sculpts that come with alternate hits depicting both their original watercolor art appearances as well as their animated designs from the cartoon. Now, the figures also feature multiple accessories and 26 points of articulation. 26! Now, what do they expect these bears to do? Kung Fu? The first wave slated for release next year comprises of 4 fan-favorite bears. First up, we have Grumpy Bear, who is basically the Oscar the Grouch of the Care Bears series. Now, Grumpy here comes with a ton of accessories. He gets a spilled paint bucket, a spilled ice cream cone, an umbrella, another umbrella with a hole in it for water to fall through. Just basically everything for him to have a really bad day and make him really grumpy. Then we have Cheer Bear, who brings smiles and cheers and is the only female Care Bear in this first wave. Cheer Bear comes with a rainbow jump rope, which by the way looks massive. And she also gets a Mary megaphone, a paint palette, a brush, and a beret. The removable beret in fact allows you to have a third different look for Cheer Bear. Good Luck Bear is the bear that brings good fortune to everyone he meets. And I can tell you, all of us sure can use some of that good fortune. This fortuitous bear comes with a basket of 4-leaf clovers, a happy-go-lucky shovel, a lucky horseshoe, and his ladybug friend. So you're getting 2 characters in this set, making it kind of like a 2-pack if you wish. Lastly, we have Tenderheart Bear, the lovable bear who helps others share their feelings and show that they care. Sort of what your relationship counselor does. Now, Tenderheart Bear comes with a telescope, a caring heart mirror, a smiley star, and a bunch of heart-shaped balloons. Just everything that he needs to seek and share feelings of care. These figures definitely give me the vibe of the old-school Kenner Care Bears figures. As I said earlier, Kenner put a lot of effort into the line back in the early 80s. As you can see with Tenderheart Bear right here, the articulation points were limited for sure, but you had the bears moving at the neck, at both shoulders, and also at the thighs. But for something this small, this was probably all that you needed. Now, all of the paint apps and detailing were really good as well. The sculpt is definitely not flat. They even tried to work in the fur details on the back of the figure. So this was really one of the better represented action figure lines of the 80s. And at roughly 4 inches in height, the old Kenner figures will scale well on a display next to the new Premium DNA figures. Now, although we've only seen the digital renders of these characters to date, there was a prototype image of Grumpy Bear that was shared online a while back. And as you can see, these guys are pretty serious about the level of sculpting and also the articulation that's involved. It really does look amazing. However, these new figures do come with a price tag of about $28 if I'm not mistaken. And therefore, I do feel that with the higher than expected price tag for figures of this size and scale, maybe these will only appeal to a very select group. But I am interested in knowing if the hardcore Care Bears fans out there are going to be turning up for this particular wave, for this series from Premium DNA. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think of the new line of figures. Let me know what you think of the return of Care Bears to action figures. Thank you and take care out there.